carts were unloading and loading, and sheep and cattle driven to the yards. There was shouting and bell ringing, deafening to the passers-by, cries at every corner of the principal streets, which were filled with people, a scene I had never before witnessed in New Zealand.
In the mid-1860s, the west coast town of Hokitika was a bustling gold rush town after gold was discovered nearby in 1864. At first, the gold diggers relied on supplies sent south by land, but when a boat succeeded in safely crossing the bar at the mouth of the Hokitika River, it showed that supplies could more easily be obtained by sea. Within a few months, a substantial town appeared as a flood of gold prospectors and traders arrived. While most miners lived close to their diggings, Hokitika was the town they went to for supplies, recreation, and to sell gold. For a short period, Hokitika had a population of around 5,000. The Canterbury provincial geologist Julius Haast visited in 1865 and couldn't believe how such a large place could have sprung up in only a few months.
The principal street, half a mile long, consisted already of a large number of shops, hotels, banks, and dwelling houses, and appeared as a scene of almost indescribable bustle and activity. There were jewelers and watchmakers, physicians and barbers, hotels and billiard rooms, eating and boarding houses, and trades and professions of all description. In the river itself, 5 steamers and a large number of sailing vessels were discharging their cargoes, reminding us of the life in a European port.
During Christmas 1865, all of Hokitika's 72 hotels were packed with boozing miners. At the peak of the rush in 1867, there were probably nearly 30,000 people on the west coast, around 12% of New Zealand's European population at the time. Though Hokitika was established as a centre for importing miners and exporting gold, as a port it was unsuitable and dangerous. Between 1865 and 1867, there were 108 strandings, with 32 vessels lost as they attempted to run the blockade, the local term for crossing the hazardous bar. In 1865, a ship came to grief on average once every 10 days. There were so many ships wrecked that a group of men known as beach rakers made their living scavenging the wrecks. Working in pairs on moonlit nights, they used hooks and lines to drag in valuable catch. Despite these risks, Hokitika became one of New Zealand's busiest ports. In 1866 and 1867, Hokitika received more immigrants than any other New Zealand port, nearly all attracted by gold. When the gold ran out, the boom times ended as quickly as they had begun. In May 1867, many miners migrated north to Addison's Flat, the site of the West Coast's final gold rush, and then headed to the newly discovered goldfields on the Coromandel Peninsula.
Hokitika has rapidly fallen from the proud position of mistress of the West Coast seaboard to a mere gap in the beach.
Today, with a population of around 3,000, Hokitika is a service centre for farming and forestry and a tourist town, especially for people interested in pounamu or greenstone. Recently, Hokitika has successfully capitalised on its abundant natural resources with the popular annual Wildfoods Festival. First held in 1990, when a crowd of nearly 2,000 gathered to sample Claire Bryant's gorse flower wine and rose petal brew, the event has become so popular that attendance is now capped at 15,000. Each March, visitors sample wild food delicacies such as huhu grubs, wasp larvae ice cream, sea cucumber, and wok fried clams.